Okay, I wanted to do this live because not everything that's coming out in year 7 and in Battle for Brooklyn was not on the live stream yesterday. We just got this X post from the Division game talking about the year 7 season 1 patch notes, and it's foreshadowing what's happening in the PTS. So whoever has a PC and downloads the PTS is able to play everything before it comes out. I always play every single PTS from the beginning, and they did not talk about all of this stuff that's in here. Well, not too much. Of course, with this new era of Division or whatever they're doing up until Division 3 comes out, they've been focusing on modifiers. So they got a whole slew of modifiers that they're adding, right? By the way, I'm doing this live. I didn't look at any of this. So this is a first time reaction. And off the bat, I've noticed what they're doing here. And like I said, for the life of me, I don't understand why. If they do all of this, they cannot bring back things like survival and essential aspects of the Division 1, because what they're doing here is they're adding global modifiers that are emulating what the Division 1 was, or similar to it, right? Okay, so it says this season's global modifier is hardcore, bringing new build-focused bonuses for yourself and your allies that grow based on your gear cores, and increases even further upon defeating enemies marked with hostile countermeasures. Players gain 3 attribute scores: firearms, stamina, and electronics. Sound familiar? Each bonus scaling with the current attribute tier. I think they're using this game, Division 2, right now as a test bed for Division 3. They were doing it with Heartland, and I guess they figured, you know what, just scrap Heartland, put all those resources into Division 3. Obviously, we love the Division 1 model. A lot of it needed to be retained and brought back to what it was for Division 2. So hopefully they just put together this beautiful mixed bag for a culmination of Division 3. Moving on. Firearms, which is the first attribute, grants plus X percentage, whatever it is, crit chance that bypasses your crit chance cap. Tier 5 effect instantly refills ammo, including signature weapon ammo. By the way, if you're not familiar with how the Division 1 system was, it was kind of how we have it right now, but not really. And this is why the Division 1 build system and model was so great. Of course, things were broken, but it had some semblance of balance, meaning you had firearms, stamina, and electronics. Firearms was how much damage you dealt, stamina is how tanky you can be, and electronics was if you wanted to have a skill build, right? And the reason why it was pretty balanced when it came to builds was because the talents were based on how many electronics you had, how many firearms you had, or how much stamina you had. So let's take, for example, Distracted. For the urban MDR, the exotic, it gave you like 30% damage for enemies who were affected by a status. You needed at least, I think, 7 electronics in order to use that talent. So you couldn't use whatever talent you wanted on any build. You couldn't be 9,000 stamina and have brutal, deadly, responsive, because brutal and deadly required you to have 6 firearms or something like that. So it was balanced in a way wherein it made you create a build based on your class. That whole idea was scrapped in Division 2. So they're bringing this system back a little bit in a way with this global modifier. So stamina applies Y percentage bonus armor every 300k damage you take. The tier 5 effect instantly refills all armor kits. And finally, the electronics, every time a skill is used, the cooldown of your other skill is reduced by Z percentage of its current value. Now, this is obviously overtuned. This is crazy, right? So this is just a modifier. It's not meant to be normally what's on your build. And they go over the different details of how much it increases your firearms based on your tier, the extra effect, so on and so forth. But I'm not really into this whole global modifier thing when it comes to the Division game. I like to make my builds and make them strong as is based on what I do to them. So these are the new active modifiers that they're going to have for year 7 going forward and for the next season. You can look over them, but I'm not really going to read through all that. I want to get to the juicy part. The hostile countermeasures are what the NPCs have whenever your firearms or stamina reaches a certain level. They get stronger when you get stronger, and you have your rewards and stuff for doing so. But here's where I wanted to get: the gear, weapons, and talents. None of this was put on the live stream. Nobody talked about it. They only talked about one exotic mask where you can still ADS while you're on fire, and it does a whole slew of other things. And they talked about the new skill, Smart Cover, which is a resurrection from Div 1. They're bringing a lot of stuff back from Division 1. Case in point, the Pakhan. Okay, this is a new exotic weapon. It's an LMG, a RPK, basically the LMG variant that looks like an assault rifle and it feels like one. This was in Division 1. Okay, the talent is called Pakhan, and I don't remember if this is what it did in Div 1. Comment down below and let me know what the Pakhan did in Div 1. But this is pretty good. It keeps you shooting. But honestly, for it to be an exotic, it needs a little bit more. And this is what the PTS is for. We're supposed to test out these weapons to see if it needs to be better or if it's too OP. So here's what it does. Each kill with this weapon grants a stack of 50% magazine size to the next magazine. So you can get up to 200 more magazine size, which means you'll never run out of ammo. Like I said, that's not enough. We never have a problem with ammo in Division. This is okay. It's not really that good. So they should do more with this. Give it some type of, I don't know, they need to do something with it. Then you have a new exotic holster. Nimble Holster. Does that look familiar? I covered this 4 or 5 years ago in one of my Righteous Thoughts videos when I talked about when the gear was changing. This is right before Warlords of New York, before everything got an overhaul. I said they need to do something like they were doing in Div 1. And I gave all of the holsters an example. You just had high-end gear and then you had named gear, which was something like this. So you know how we have the brand sets in this game and every single brand set has something that it comes with. In Division 1, it wasn't like that. You just had high-end gear and you had named gear. The high-end gear was just legendary and allowed you to create your builds as is with the weapon talents and whatever else you had, like the exotics and the named stuff, right? But this holster is called Bob and Weave. You receive 5% repairs for every 1 meter ran in cover to cover. Damage taken while doing a cover to cover is healed over 10 seconds. This is, okay, like I said, this is my first time looking at this with you. And at first I was like really stoked about it. Like, oh, they bringing the Pakhan back. They bringing the Nimble Holster back. But this is what you need to understand, developers. This is a good idea, okay? It's a great idea, right? But many implications rise up in my head when I look at this, okay? It says you receive repairs for every meter ran, and the damage taken during a cover-to-cover is healed over 10 seconds. When you're doing a cover-to-cover, NPCs, they can't shoot you. I can't remember one time where I've died doing a cover-to-cover. Furthermore, I use cover-to-cover to get me out of sticky situations when I'm about to go down, so that I run through a whole slew of NPCs while they're shooting at me and I'm dodging bullets like Matrix. I guess there's iframes when you're doing a cover to cover, because as soon as you get to the other wall, you can take damage. So it's basically rendering this useless by saying damage taken while doing a cover to cover is healed over 10 seconds. And anyway, 10 seconds is too long because once you get to the other cover, you need to have that health back or that armor back instantly, almost instantly, maybe 3 seconds. It got to be quicker than that, because I'm thinking of PvP. This is neither here nor there in PvE, just because of how the mechanics work. But in PvP, if you try and do this, players are going to be shooting you while you're in a cover to cover. I mean, I remember I used to use cover to cover surgically on people with my ninja build. Like you could see me just like pulling the okie doke on people. So I could see myself using this in PvP. But you got to do something with the heal over time. Instead of 10 seconds, maybe 3 seconds. Anyway, we're going to have to just test it out to see how it's really going to work in the PTS. But I haven't seen this right here. It's called the Tinkerer Exotic Mask. The talent is called Abridged. If your primary and secondary weapon are not exotic or named and of the same type, the secondary weapon's talent will also be applied to the weapon. Whoa. So you'll have a 2-talent weapon? That's pretty crazy. This might be something here. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of speechless. That's pretty dope, actually. I want to play this and see how it is in practice. Okay. Now, for the new gear, we have something called Eminence Armaments. Okay. It's a brand set. It gives you 5% weapon damage, 100% increased threat, and 60% pistol damage. That's different. So increased threat, what does that do? I think that's only a PvE thing, right? Someone tell me in the comments what increased threat does. But yeah, that weapon damage is pretty nice for the pistol. Pistols, I mean, when you're talking about pistols, when it doesn't really matter with the weapon damage when you're dealing with the Regulus, because it's one shots all day. I think this will help with other pistols though. Regulus doesn't need any more damage. You have a named backpack called Cap'n. Okay, perfect leadership. Performing a cover, the cover grants 20% of your armor as bonus armor. Obviously, you pair this with the Nimble Holster. It says this is tripled if you end up within 10 meters of an enemy. Oh, so you can rush up on people. Knee pads, cloak. Okay, there was a talent before Warlords of New York. I remember this now, and I know some of you do. It was called Cloaked. I forgot exactly what it did. I think that when you apply the status effect to somebody, I don't know, it gave you weapon damage. I can't remember. It reduces threat by 50%. What? This doesn't look like it does anything. Okay, this is the gear set. Measured assembly. 2 pieces equipped. Gives plus 15% skill haste. 3 pieces of 60% repair skills. 4 piece, a new unique talent called Huddle. Receive 1 skill tier for each ally agent that is within range of your hive. While at skill tier 6, having at least 1 ally agent in the range of your hive of smart cover for 4 seconds will grant overcharge for 15 seconds. Mortars and enemy skills that enter the range of your hive or smart cover will be destroyed, and the cooldown is 30 seconds. Cooldown is 15% faster for each ally agent within range of your hive. Wow, that's pretty crazy. So does that mean that the hive has to be on the ground, or can it be on your back? That's the question. Now, the unique chest and backpack talents, the chest is called Hive Mind, decreases overcharge cooldown from 40 seconds to 25 seconds. I think that's a must-have. The backpack bonus talent, Smart Cooperation, decrease the destroy diffuse cooldown from 30 seconds to 15. So you're pretty much a utility guy here. All right, now I'm really having nostalgia after reading this gear set talent. They are trying to recreate the brokenness that was in Division 1. I know some of you veterans remember this. If you could just picture this in your mind. And for those who can't, let me just paint a picture for you, okay? Smart cover was at a point where it was broken. So the implementation of smart cover giving you bonuses added onto this gear set makes it all the more tanky for your whole team. And the name of the talent, Huddle, completely represents this. You can have 2 people on one side of a block and 2 people on the other side of the block, all of them on the same team, and you're all using smart cover, and literally nothing could kill you. As long as you were on that cover, as long as you kept recycling smart cover on the cover, you were an impenetrable, immovable force. And for whatever twisted reason, the developers seem to be recreating this scene. I can see this really being something. It could be good. It could be bad. We're just going to have to see. But I just wanted to tell you that this is what it reminds me of. Man, this right here is what I'm talking about when it comes to the build diversity and just all of the different styles you can play based on all of this information you see right here. This requires like direction. You got to really deep dive and figure out what you want to do here to make it super effective. And that's definitely what I'm going to do. And we have new named weapons and talents. The LUD, the MK16, Perfect Streamline, receive plus 87% weapon damage when no skills are on cooldown. What? That sounds like an exotic. See, that's what I'm saying. You need to put this talent right here on the Pakhan. This talent has to be what the Pakhan is for. Okay? Then you have Purist, a converted SMG, also with Perfect Streamlined. Oh boy. Oh boy. I just got a great build idea. Crazy build idea. I'm going to let y'all know. Okay? And then you have the new weapon talent Streamline, of course, coming in here that you can put on other weapons. And then you have the known issues and whatever. The art, it says the Tinkerer exotic mask is using a placeholder model, of course. So yeah, I'm going to dive into this PTS. I'm going to download it right now. It's available for preload. So go ahead and download it yourself. Test this stuff out so we can all give the developers feedback into what needs to be done, what needs to be buffed or nerfed or whatever. Anyways, I just wanted to do this live with you, talk about the patch notes and see what we had coming into the next season, because when I looked at that live stream, I'm like, dang, that's it? That's not more for this long wait we had, but apparently there is, so I'm looking forward to testing all this stuff out. Appreciate you watching to the end. Like the video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here. I'll see you in the next one. Be right out.